Good morning. Right, let's have a look at these kinds of questions, dividing with a calculator and finding the remainder. So I've got a couple of examples for us here to work through, one nice and easy, another one a bit more involved. But for both, basically you follow the steps that I've got here in the red box. First of all, we divide by whatever the number is we're dividing by. We then subtract the whole number and then multiply the decimal that we've got left by the number that we started with. So we could call it x. If we divide whatever the number we divide by at the start, that's what we multiply with at the end. So 10 divided by 4, we start off by dividing by 4. With the bigger numbers we need our calculator. You might feel you're right on this. Get it as a decimal, there we go, the answer is 2.5. So 10 divided by 4, 2.5. So what we're doing there, we're actually working between how many we've got altogether and how many lots of 4 we've got. So if we start off with 10, if we divide by 4, we've got one lot of 4, got another lot of 4, and then we've got a bit more. We've got a half of 4. Now you should know that if we want to get back to our original number, we do the opposite operation of divide. We multiply by 4. And sure enough, yep, we get 10. Now, what this is doing is we're going to subtract the whole number next. So if we've got 2.5, the whole number is 2. And we have 0.5 left. To find out what is our remainder, we multiply the decimal by what we divided by in the first place. We divided by 4, so the decimal will multiply by 4. And the answer is 2. Now you might have been able to do that in your head, that's fine, but I just want to explain why is it, what's happening. Well, we can start with our 10. If we divide by 4 we get 2.5, then we multiply by 4 to get back to the 10 if we want to. Now what we're interested in is we're interested in these two. We know we've got 2 lots of 4. Then we've got a decimal as well, but we don't want it as a decimal, we want to know how many is that altogether. Now because these are small numbers, we know we've got 2 lots of 4 in our 10, and that's what our dividing will tell us. But if we want to know how many we've got left, we need to work back from how many 4s is it, and it's a decimal, times it by 4, it gives us how many we've got. So this is how many. We started with 10. If we divide it by 4, it tells us how many 4s we've got. We want our remainder as how many, not as how many 4s. We want these as 4s, and our calculator's told us that. But with this, we need to know how many is it. So that's what we've done here. We said first of all, how many 4s are there? 2.5. What's the extra bit that we want as how many rather than 4s? It's 0.5. So let's convert that back into how many. Let's try that with a harder question. How many days and hours are there in 5,010 hours? So how many hours are there in a day? It's 24, isn't there? So we need to do 5,010 divided by 24. That is a decimal, 208.75. So what we've done there, we've converted from hours into days. Just like over here, we worked from how many into how many fours. So we need now to do the second step, subtract the whole number. The whole number is 208, so that should be a 5, not 4. So we're going to subtract so that tells us, if you like, what this little bit is. We know how many days it is. It's 208 days, but we want the remainder in hours rather than as a decimal. So we're now going to multiply just that bit by 24 to get it back into hours. And there we are, 18. So our answer is 208 days and 18 hours.